And I've got the joy deep down in my heart. I'm waking up with your love from the start. I'm chasing the rainbow through the rain. I know it's gonna.
Have you ever found yourself in a place where you were so intimidated that you lost your authentic self? I think we probably all have. As a matter of fact, today, this very minute, could be one of those days for me. Welcome to Coffee, conversations of friends of faith to encourage and equip. I'm Kim Crabill, and I'm so delighted to be your host. But do you know, as your host, it's my job to lead the conversation. But can you believe that today we have conversational experts as our guests? Oh my, known as Tall Small Productions, Rebecca and Keith Scott are phenomenal speakers and trainers. They are experts at executive coaching, self-talk and healing, and they also serve as keynote speakers. So, before I completely lose my authenticity, let us bring on our guests. Welcome, Rebecca and Keith. I'm so glad to have you. Would you please just introduce yourself to our friends?
Sure. Keith Scott, and I'm the tall half of Tall Small, but certainly not the brains behind the organizations. That would go to my beautiful wife, Rebecca.
See, he already knows the perfect words, which are true. Yes, yes.
And I'm Rebecca Klein Scott, the small half, although I was supposed to be tall too.
Oh, you were?
I was.
Oh my goodness, well there's a story within itself. So tell us just a little bit about what you do, because I will tell you, we're friends. I interviewed you on the radio and seen you, and I try every time around you not to lose my authenticity because I know that your heart is to just help all of us. You're not judgmental, you're just trying to help all of us. And I love that. So talk about that just a little bit.
Sure. When we look at folks that have a fear of public speaking, the people that are quiet, the introverts of the world, many times they have the best ideas, but they don't speak up. And yet, unfortunately, many times we have the loudmouths having the worst ideas. So our thinking is if we can get the quiet people who are sitting in offices, sitting in jobs, or sitting home to be able to speak, we can make this world a better place because we add their voice to the whole mix of this world.
And it turns out that those quiet people and the loudmouths suffer from similar insecurities. It manifests in different ways. And we always think about all those cures for cancer, all those answers to our burning questions that could be within those minds of the quiet ones. We help them carve things out so that their voices can come up, and then show the loudmouths that they can say more with less.
More with less. I love that. You all have found yourself in the most interesting situations, haven't you? And what I loved about our talk was how you want to bring people to their most authentic selves. Where did that come from? How did you develop that?
From noticing the pain all around us in people, where people are struggling. They'll say, I can't get this job. I can't do this. I'm not a public speaker. And they can't see that it's all right there. And a lot of companies go out and with cookie cutter approaches, we're going to mold you into this person. We start with who you are and make the best parts shine.
And that's the key. Every person when they're born has this seed, but a lot of times they don't have anybody fertilizing it. They don't have anybody watering it, and the seed just stays dormant. And so they're going, and the weeds grow on them, and that's all the people in society putting stuff on them.
Yes.
We're like, this sounds weird, but we're like weed killer. And we get the seed going.
Oh, I cannot wait. I know that everyone is can't wait to hear more. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back and listen to more of this.
Sounds great.
Thank you for joining us for coffee. Some of the messages talked about today come from Kim's books. To go deeper into the messages, we invite you to learn more. Burdens to Blessings is Kim's signature work that is being used to help people. Men, women, and teens all over the world discover the power of their stories. Burdens to Blessings can also be used as a study in your church, community, or in your own home. To assist your group, you can order a set of professionally filmed DVDs with chapter-by-chapter teachings by Kim herself, as well as a leadership manual and teaching tips. Cherished is Kim's 365-day devotional. This book will help you discover God's love for you each day. Infinitely More is Kim's latest book that is based on the promise of Ephesians 3:20. God wants to show you how you can truly live your more. You can order these books at our website, kimcrabill.org. That's kimcrabill.org. Thank you again for joining us. We at Coffee with Kim look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back to Coffee, Conversations of Friends of Faith to encourage and equip. We have Tall Small with us today, and I'm so honored to have you here. One of the things that you said that I love, I want to read this. When people lose their authentic self, they hide behind who they think they should be. Isn't that the truth? I lived that way for so long because I was so determined to prove to this world I wasn't a mistake, that I mattered, that I just, and it talking with you sometimes makes me think, oh, I have to be, I have to present best. So talk about that a little bit and how we do begin to hide and pretend just to try to impress and how that affects us.
We see this every single day. We walk into companies,
Yes.
and people talk in ways they would never talk at their kitchen table about, let's let these ideas bubble up and then we'll put them in our core values, in our silos or verticals. And automatically, people then hide in their robots. They do not reveal anything about themselves, and then we wonder why nothing gets done.
And many times when we're kids, we don't worry about judgment. We just do what we want. We're in fourth grade, we run out in the woods, run out in the street. As we get older, we start to clamp down on what we do because people are judging. I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't do that. And we change our mentality and we lose our authentic self.
Yes.
And we develop what they call a personality.
Yes.
And that's from the root word of person, which means you have a mask.
Right.
And what mask we're wearing.
Right.
But once you take that mask off, that's when you can feel free again and you feel good again. But many people can't take it off.
And the joy in watching people realize that they can take it off is unbelievable. One time we were coaching a group of Toyota executives, and it was all women, and we asked them to draw a circle on their paper. And it was the start of a full exercise. Had nothing to do with their drawing ability.
Right.
One woman crumpled hers up, said, I can't do this. I can't. We asked her why. In fourth grade, the age where people start to lose their confidence, she had hand-drawn a bird. The teacher picked up her drawing and ripped it to shreds and told her, you will never trace anything again in my class. To this day, when she draws anything, she shakes and she can't do it.
Oh my goodness. It's that what you call trash talk.
It is.
You know, you've heard that old saying, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. How would you all complete that sentence?
Words will kill you.
Yes.
Yes, they kill that magic inside.
Yes.
Everybody can remember a time in their life when someone said something negative. Half the time we never remember praise. People say good things about us, we get a certificate, and we're like, yeah, we put it away. But the things people said, those words stay in us. And
They are hardwired.
And it's hard to clean them out. It's real hard.
Yes. You know, you're talking about the seeds. I remember when my boys were growing up, and I would say to them, don't put negative thoughts, don't say negative things, because it's like planting a seed, and it's going to grow at the most inopportune time when they really need to feel good. It's that negative that's going to come back.
And it will show through. People think, well, nobody can hear that voice. It's inside of me. But it shows in your body language when people are sitting like this or rubbing their chins and self-soothing. It shows in those moments. It shows in their voices, and people pick up on that energy.
Yes, absolutely.
And going to the seed, the key is the seed is then to hang out and be with others that provide light. Because we all know with a seed, if you don't have light around you, you are not going to grow.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. People get into situations or get with groups of people and get in areas or communities where that's the negativity breeds. And that seed will never grow.
And it's contagious because those people who feel that dark on them are going to do the same to others.
Exactly. And that's why there has to come a time in your life where you go, I can't live like this more. I have to change.
Absolutely.
And I remember that time so specifically in my life where I knew that I could go outside my home and I could be anything that you needed me to be. You want me to be happy? I'll be happy. You want me to be sad? I'll be sad with you. You know, you want me to be professional? I can be professional. But what I realized was, it was the personality, it was role acting. When I came home to my husband and my two sons, you can't play role authenticity. And we want to be the best at who God made us to be. And that's why we need people like you. And what I try to do is to help bring that forth, to take away all that trash talk that's landed on people in our society. Because when we say the negative, it lands somewhere, right?
It does.
So you all, I saw on many of your Facebooks where people are saying, gosh, they're like healing agents. They're coming in. How do you do that? Because don't you have to be really present with people to know, to discern what's going on with them? And I know that you're more in the professional mode with companies and things, but professional companies are made of professional people, and people have these personalities. So how do you get so present with people that you know how to do that?
We start by taking them back to who they were as kids, getting them out of that corporate speak, and if it's at a company, getting them out of that office. That's critical. We'll often bring props such as these blocks.
I saw these
Blocks, because you're going to get to play.
Oh boy! Just you make sure you set me up for success
yes,
here.
we will, because there's failure's impossible with these. We'll take these blocks and say, build a structure that represents your
communication style.
Oh.
That's what most people do.
They do, and they have that moment of freak out. Some people have started crying and walk away, and they'll say, I can't do this.
My communication style, like how I do it or what I want.
However you interpret that.
Okay, so I'm going to do this, and it's going to make no sense. You've probably never seen this before.
We like it when it doesn't make sense.
But,
It's better that way.
But my communication style is what I want. I want this to be it.
Tell us about that.
I want what I say to become a pathway of hope to other people.
Wow.
I want them to understand, and maybe I'll even do this, because I want them to understand that there's different paths, and there's not a wrong path. If it's your
paths
path.
to different ways.
Exactly.
Is that okay? Did I
That's
pass?
perfect.
You did a great job.
Because most people will start out by explaining, and they'll say, I don't know what I was building. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I don't know if this is what you wanted.
Okay.
And they have to realize all these excuses they're saying here and these downplaying messages, that's what other people are hearing in their sentences.
The biggest thing is we realize that a lot of people use language that's like a doormat. They use doormat language about themselves. I just sort of tried to build, I just hope to. The fact is, Kim or whoever builds this, you built the most magnificent thing you can build because you built it. See, there's no wrong because you built it. Many people, though, feel like what they built is wrong because everyone else has talked about the fact they're wrong. But going back to your other comment about how do you listen in companies to people, Rebecca and I really worked on fine-tuning, being in the present, and intuition. And many times it's as though we can look at the person and just feel it. And I know you do this all the time, too. You can feel whether it's pain or joy. It's almost as though you can see 3 levels down.
You absorb that energy, and most people can't do that. And that's the backstory with this. It's not only about listening for the words. When you are physically building something, it is impossible to keep those other barriers up around your emotions. And as people build with their hands, similar to if you're throwing a ball with a kid and they suddenly will open up to you, as they're building, their barriers come down and they're able to see deeper into themselves and share more.
I love that. I'm all about it. With what we do, we're always using visuals and different things to get people active, because I don't want to just be someone who just talks at people. I want to get them involved, and that's what you all do. And I'll tell you what, this to me was such the way you explained this, Keith, was so touching to me, because I feel like that goes back to the core of the little girl in me, and the little girl, is that, okay, I did it right. It's okay because it's what I think. And I believe if there's a message for our world today, it's that you go back to that healing of the little person that was so hurt by words or whatever, by whomever. And they get to the point to where, oh, I can do it. It's okay, my way. However God wants me to do it. So that was
And there's a lot of different ways to different things. A lot of people get stuck in a certain silo or thought. We can only do it this way, but there's a lot. That's why God made so many different people and so many different countries and cultures and languages. There's a lot of ways to the same thing. We see it in business. There's a lot of ways to the same answer.
Isn't it amazing when you do something? I know you all experience this all the time. Isn't it the most, and we were talking about this before, isn't it the most amazing thing when you can present something that is light to the seed, light to the heart, and you see the eyes light up as if, gosh, someone believes in me.
And everything changes in them. And they'll say to us, thank you for changing me, thank you. And we always say the thanks does not go to us. We were only the vessel.
I tell people we're just opening the blinds.
They are doing it
your own
themselves,
light.
yes.
We're just helping them open the blinds. People can't do that. But we're not providing magic here.
We're not magical healers.
They have it all within themselves. Like I said, where weed be gone. We're getting rid of the weeds so they can see the seed.
Absolutely. Oh, I love
And it's that simple. And we teach people to speak in simple ways that way. because we've gotten far too complex.
No jargon. A lot of people think they have to use the jargon to sound important, to not be judged, when the opposite is occurring. When you look at the best speakers out there, they speak simply, whether they're talking to the custodian of the building or the president. It does not matter.
Most time you get more wisdom from the custodian than anybody else.
Right, absolutely.
Because they're down to
Because they're
earth.
real.
Exactly.
Because they're real. And
Absolutely.
they're more comfortable with themselves. That's okay. Well, this is incredible. Let me ask you this: if there was a message that you really have to our audience today, that hopeful message of where they are, because we've all struggled and hurts, and you've been so open, Keith, about some of your struggles. That I just love your authenticity. That how you can use that. Maybe that inner conversation. You know, what do you say to yourself on bad days to defeat these thoughts that try to the weeds?
Sure.
You know, what do
Absolutely.
we say to ourselves? Because the inner dialogue,
Yes.
right? is
First,
really-
you have to
self-talk.
shut that down.
Yes.
We
How
have
do you
people,
do that?
This is going to sound crazy.
Yes.
We have people take a name. It could be a childhood person who wasn't nice to you. It could be a name you just don't like.
Yes.
Take that name, and when that voice begins to pipe up, to get it to shut down,
Yes.
use that name.
I've-
Brenda, stop talking to me this way.
Why?
Frank, stop talking to me this way.
Wow.
And that way you're separating it out, because we were not born with that self-talk.
Right.
It grew on its own. It's one of those weeds, and the only way to pull it is to separate it out from the seed.
Absolutely. I love that.
Right.
You know, one of the things that I teach, well, I guess teach the people that I in my workshops is I will say the first thing to do is ask yourself, who is saying that to you?
Oh, yeah.
Because we start to think that we're
Right.
saying it to ourselves, and many times it's a schoolmate, it's a teacher, it's something on TV, it's a billboard that we've read.
But we also say the worst things to ourselves, things we wouldn't be talking to our family about. We
Yes.
to beat ourselves up. But the
Yes.
phrase I always go back to and learned early on is, I can do all things. I just phrase that. If something goes down wrong, I can do all things.
Philippians 4:13.
Exactly.
Right.
You just keep saying that over and over again, I can do all things,
Yes.
and you just keep doing it.
Or I'm supposed to be here.
Yes.
Women especially will walk in a room and think, why am I here? I don't deserve this. I'm an imposter. And saying to yourself, I deserve a seat at this table. We were working with a young woman the other night, and she was saying when she walks into rooms and sees all these older men around the table, right away she feels as though, I don't have this wisdom they do.
Right.
But she has other wisdom. Fourth graders have wisdom we don't have.
Right.
The key is we all have that seed, and there's a reason we're here, and the reason that we're not, no one else will replace us, and no one else will ever come on earth that's just like us. There's a certain seed, and if we don't help build that seed, then we're missing a segment of the world.
And there's no wrong or right in that seed.
Right.
Everybody has
It's who
that
we
right.
are.
Yeah.
It's who we- One of the things that I read where you said, if we don't bring people to their most authentic self, which is one of the biblical concepts that I teach, if you don't come to your authentic self, then you don't live your authentic life. So then, therefore, how can you fulfill what you were
Right.
put on this earth to truly
Absolutely.
do? And that's really kind of what my mom, when she died, when she said, "Don't live like I'm dying," she let the trash talk, a mistake, hold her back from being her most authentic self until her last few moments. And you know what great hope that she was able to
Yes.
get there, but you all are trying to help people get there before it's too late, before they get to those final.
And one of the
Yes.
things that I see is that you're really doing a disservice to your Creator, to God, if you aren't authentic. Yeah, I mean, really, if you decide I'm not going to be authentic, I'm not going to be real, then you're basically telling the person who created you, I'm not honoring what you did.
Right. You
That's
didn't make
for-
you didn't make me good enough.
Right.
And
Yes.
I'm not about to do that.
Right. Me either, because I lived that way too long,
Yeah,
and
I'm
I
not
didn't
about to do that.
realize. Yeah, I didn't realize, because we hear the trash talk. You're not good enough, and I came from a very really. I think we all come from some type of dysfunction, right? But you hear these words, and you start to wear them, and you know, at a very young age, I found out that I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was a mistake, and I lived with that word for. I mean, every room I walked into, I would hear, but you're just a mistake. You don't belong here. And so I had to get to a point to where I quit running from that, that I confronted that and found healing in that.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's what we are all running from some words. There's never a place where you get to where it's all okay, right?
Right, and not judging people, because some of the things people are running from, you think, how could they possibly feel that way? These
Yes.
people are successful. How could they possibly feel less than?
Yes.
But always meeting people where they are and
Yes.
feeling their fears where they are, and not judging the validity of, well, is this really a big fear or a little fear?
Yes.
And I know with my bipolar, and we've talked about this on the
Yes.
radio, it's hard to do because some days it plays with you.
Yeah.
I mean, it changes your mood and everything, and it's like you've gotten thrown into a pit. You got to
Yes.
dig back out,
Right.
and it's difficult, but it's always doable. That's the thing.
yes.
It's always doable. It
And
goes back to
knowing
that,
that for every up, there's a down and another up again.
and realizing I can do all things. Look, it can be a bad day.
Yes.
I can want to hide out, but I'm going to get back out of this.
I love, Keith, thank you so much for bringing that up, because the fact that you have to use what you're teaching every day with the bipolar really makes it so authentic. It's like, gosh, this guy, not only do you all teach it, but you live
And
it.
you feel it all the time.
Right.
All the time. It's like people with chronic pain.
Yes.
Never goes away.
Right,
Never
absolutely.
goes away.
And the minute we don't live what we teach, then how could we be authentic? How can we do what we do?
Isn't that the truth?
Absolutely.
And I think the more authentic we are, it just opens the door for other people to be authentic, because I believe we're all looking for someone. For so many years, I was just looking for someone who didn't look perfect, you know, so I could talk to them, connect, because that's really how we connect,
Right.
isn't it?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But the authenticity is as contagious as the negativity.
That's why many times folks in sales are like, man, why am I not getting any sales? You're not authentic, you're not real. I'm not going to buy from you if I don't have a relationship with you.
They're acting like walking, talking business cards.
Right.
And they'll say their name, their title, and how long they've done whatever they've done.
Yes.
It almost sounds as though they're giving that prison sentence. I've served 20 years in this. I've served 10 years in this, versus I get to do.
But we want to just like, tell me about yourself. What makes you a person? What makes you real?
Right.
Just tell me. Let me have some
That's
connection
what
with
we
you.
want to know. That small talk is anything but small talk.
Exactly.
Taking the time to get to know people, we could care less about their title.
Yes. Well, and that's what I love about you all. I really do. I admire you all so much and what you do. And I see where you're working with incredible people. All people are incredible every day, and you're giving of your heart. And,
Thank you.
And you're present with them. You're authentic, and it's helping all of us to be more authentic. It's been such a pleasure. I knew our time was going to go by so
goes real
quickly.
fast.
It does. We could go. Let's do it again sometime.
do it.
Definitely.
Let's do it. And we have 20 seconds. What is a word that you would say to our audience?
Be you. Give yourself permission to be you.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. And we're going to take a little break, and then I'll be back, and we're going to put some practical application to what we talked about today. So thank you for being with us, and thank you all, tall, small. Look on my Facebook to know how to contact them, to have them come speak to your group. We'll be right back.
Thank you for joining us for coffee. Some of the messages talked about today come from Kim's books. To go deeper into the messages, we invite you to learn more. Burdens to Blessings is Kim's signature work that is being used to help people. Men, women, and teens all over the world discover the power of their stories. Burdens to Blessings can also be used as a study in your church, community, or in your own home. To assist your group, you can order a set of professionally filmed DVDs with chapter-by-chapter teachings by Kim herself, as well as a leadership manual and teaching tips. Cherished is Kim's 365-day devotional. This book will help you discover God's love for you each day. Infinitely More is Kim's latest book that is based on the promise of Ephesians 3:20. God wants to show you how you can truly live your more. You can order these books at our website, kimcrabill.org. That's kimcrabill.org. Thank you again for joining us. We at Coffee with Kim look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back to Coffee with Kim. Thank you so much for joining me in this show. And didn't we have phenomenal speakers? Now, I know you're wondering, why does she have all that on her? What is wrong with that woman? Can she not see that? Why is she looking that way? Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where someone walked into a room and you wondered, why is that person acting that way? And you couldn't see anything on the outside, but you knew that they were acting a little different? Well, I'm just wearing on the outside what a lot of us think on the inside that make us seem a little different at times, that make us seem maybe a little bit more quiet or a little bit more loud or a little bit more shy or insecure. You see, it goes back to what we talked about today, communication and the words that we say, words that really are like trash talk. You know, I read a quote one time that said that our trash talk is like social littering. And you know what that said to me? Is that our trash talk is going to land on someone. And these are some words that landed on me. Look at this. Maybe you can relate to some of them. My situation is impossible. You are absolutely no good. I should just give up. You should give up, Kim. These are words that would cause me maybe to act different. These are trash that have landed on me. What has landed on you? Well, the beauty of it is God is in the recycling business, and He can take the words that have landed on us, trash, and put truth to it. For example, I should just give up. The truth to that would be in Philippians 1:6. He who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. I am just no good. John 3:16, you are good, for God so loved you that He gave His only Son. So today's program, I hope that you will consider what is the trash that's landed on you, and that you will dig into God's Word, because He says that we can take those words captive and make it obedient to His truth. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Thank you so much for joining me. Join me next time for another coffee conversation.
Thank you for joining us for coffee. Some of the messages talked about today come from Kim's books. To go deeper into the messages, we invite you to learn more. Burdens to Blessings is Kim's signature work that is being used to help people. Men, women, and teens all over the world discover the power of their stories. Burdens to Blessings can also be used as a study in your church, community, or in your own home. To assist your group, you can order a set of professionally filmed DVDs with chapter-by-chapter teachings by Kim herself, as well as a leadership manual and teaching tips. Cherished is Kim's 365-day devotional. This book will help you discover God's love for you each day. Infinitely More is Kim's latest book that is based on the promise of Ephesians 3:20. God wants to show you how you can truly live your more. You can order these books at our website, kimcrabill.org. That's kimcrabill.org. Thank you again for joining us. We at Coffee with Kim look forward to hearing from you.
'Cause I've got the joy deep down in my heart. I'm waking up with your love from the start. I'm chasing the rainbow through the rain. I know it's gonna be a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah. There is nothing that can take this hope away. 'Cause I know that I've got a peace that's here to stay. And I've got the joy deep down in my heart. I'm waking up with your love from the start. I'm chasing the rainbow